are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high-quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Airport Residency Estate is a gated community located in Olyundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
This season on Kerr Fatou.
The reason I have always called for a national dialogue is because a government must be responsive to the needs of its people.
Fatou.
Tell you one thing, if me as an individual, if I know that there is somebody that I definitely wrong, I will be bold enough. I will go to the person. I will appeal to him and apologize him.
I have to make decision today because I don't make decisions lightly. I investigate. I do my research. I get the facts. I call the experts. I summon meetings. I get the technicians. Then I reflect and I make a decision.
Why did you lose the election?
Well, we lost the election because of treatment registration. We had evidence of people being registered before the opening of the registration.
And welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday and there's no better place to be than to be on this couch. I have been home for the past 6 days feeling sick, but I just want to be here to do this show. I never want to miss any show. And so you're gonna have to excuse my voice. It's going to be terrible. I might be sneezing, but I just want to be here to do this show. So I don't have COVID. My son told me, Mommy, I hope you don't have COVID, but we don't have COVID anymore. But I am a little under the weather, but I am glad to be here. And to do the show today with me is Esther. Esther, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I think it's been a while since we had.
I know, right?
The last time I appeared here, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. How did you spend your Tobaski?
Well, as usual, Alhamdulillah, it all went well. I spent it home with the family. I think it was nothing so special, but Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for the life and the opportunity to witness another Tobaski. As usual, I'm not a Job Kunda, so we don't eat a lot. We just fast, So, but Alhamdulillah, it all went well, and I've been home with the family, and I think also because of the interruption, the Tobaski and all that, we couldn't have the show.
Yeah.
At some point, you had some.
Some
urgent interviews.
And I had to do it day after Tobaski though.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I think that is why Fatou did not even alert me, because there was no way that I could.
Yes, I was traveling on Friday. I was given the opportunity to do the interview, and I was like, you know what, let me just get up.
I don't know how you were able to pull that, but
I did.
Not everybody can do that. Tobaskis are meant to be with family and enjoy, but you had to have that interview, and also with Mustafa too. But quite interesting, because these are all helpful, and it just increases the number of followers, people that follow Kerr Fatou. When people want to talk about anything serious, they rush to Kerr Fatou, and that's really good. It shows that the medium is also doing its best to contribute to national development. Information is power. And that's how people can get aware about this.
And we had to quickly do the Mustafa one, because we had to talk about, normally when I remember the cabinet reshuffle, I had you rush over. We did that at home to get the reaction and see what happened. When also we had Abba resign, we digged through and got some information, so we had to rush and say something. But of course today we have Honorable Demba Jawo and Edi Jamanka here. Uncle Demba, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Fatou. I'm really happy to be here once again.
Yeah. Edi, welcome back to the show. You were on the brunch all the time. I loved your appearances on the Senegalese issue, and I said, you know what, Edi Fogme Indi Watko. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Fatou. Dila jaajëfal bu baax a baax dila nuyu di nuyu képp ko am jamono ji yaa ngi seetaan Kerr Fatou programme Scout ak Demba Ali Jaw honorable am content trop pour toga moom jotaay bi ko somebody boo xam ne depuis we are young, ku daan we look up to him. So di am content to meet Esa for the first time di couldn't follow ci FM station si ak Kerr Fatou may enjoy deliberation sami yow tamit di content trop because xam nga man ko xam as an artist time bo daan def guddi samedi GRTS bi after dem Desert TV xam nga I was a fan, I listen because I'm somebody artistic, so loolu ma gën a xamee so I'm content trop ci invitation bi ma jox ni pour ñu waxtaan.
And I was really surprised ne bu ma xamee ne ma la gisee si brunch and you're talking about Senegalese issues, the deep knowledge you have considering your background yaa ngi nekk si entertainment bi. Even though myself, all my life, my career in the media, it was entertainment, coming going good Sunday and JRTs and Desert TV. But looking at Bima Degro, I told Cham I need to have Edi on with this kind of show because you had a deep knowledge. And I must acknowledge though, Uncle Demba, I hulona see platform we see comments anytime we had Senegalese discussion about Macky Sall and you made certain pronouncements. I'm like, no, Uncle D definitely understand it. But that's what we are going to be talking about today. We'll talk about the Senegalese situation. Macky Sall announced that he is not running for the third term. And also, there were a lot of discussions around whether Macky will run or not. A lot of us, including myself, believed he was going to run. Until the minute he was announcing, I said he was going to run. And I was surprised that he said he did not, because the signs were he was going to run. And I think manma Edi ñu neblo lañ gomon because Edi deglo na ko mom tamit. But also we will be talking about I think first we'll start in Gambia. We'll look at the Abasanya resignation. It is important, even though we had this conversation on my platform with Mustafa, we received, some of us had gotten prior information about tendered his resignation, but it was Tobaski period, we could not verify it, and we were going back and forth trying to check. And all of a sudden, the next day, the email came in. And I was like, Jam, we should have written this. We got it. Why didn't we write about it? And it's like, but, we wanted to wait and make sure, you cannot just write stuff that you don't have correct information to. But when you had that Abba resigned, Uncle D.A., what was your first reaction when you saw the presser?
Well, honestly, that press release was a little bit confusing because while they said, he resigned on personal grounds, then they went on to say, I think that's a word they use.
Contravening.
Contravening, he's away. So, that was a little bit confusing. Contravening means that he definitely do what he was supposed to have done.
Yeah.
So it contravened his ministerial position or whatever. So that was the confusion. Then I knew definitely it was much more than just mere personal. I knew it was something, that has to do probably with corruption or whatever. Yeah.
But also, so even when I was doing SRD statement, when we were talking, myself, Mustafa, I kept on concentrating on the word contravenes, because what did he do? In fact, we did a post on Kerr Fatou said, the government says overdid something that contravenes
his ministerial position,
his duties as a minister. But what we did not take note of was the section that was quoted, 76(6)(a), which if you read through says somebody who has done something like misconduct.
Okay.
So the government did not just stop at telling us he did something that contravenes his position, but they also quoted a section that directly talks about somebody who does an act of misconduct. So if a government says something like that in a statement and just did not go further to tell us what the minister did, is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, so when I saw Abbas' resignation, as usual on your status, when I saw it, that's your WhatsApp status.
Yeah.
When I saw
I'm selling advertisements now on my WhatsApp status. Yeah.
Anyway, when I saw it, the first thing I thought of is I think some months ago, I was in a media program where I said the colonialists have left everything with us and we've inherited everything from them except one thing, and that is the culture of resignation. These people do that, but rarely will Africans resign from their positions, either voluntarily or because they have done, acted contrary to their positions, let's say misconduct and all that. So that was what came to mind, and I was like, okay, this is very rare in Gambia to have a state minister resign. I think I remember during Jammeh's time there was someone who did it, who was once appointed as finance minister. I think it's Sala Sonem. I can't remember exactly.
Okay. But even Satan Jawo resigned.
Okay, yeah. So we had a few of them who did that, but it's very rare to have it in Gambia.
And see that job as well.
See that job, yeah. What also came to mind is Abba wouldn't just do this voluntarily, especially the government presser. And what was so, like you said, a lot of Gambians just focus on, Abba resign. But even the section that was quoted, not a lot of people paid attention to that.
I did not until the following day somebody
usually, firing and hiring based on the powers given to him in line with the Constitution. But not going deep to look at the section and to look at what does that section say, particularly in the Constitution. And when I saw the saying that contravening his position as state minister, I'm like, okay, I think that was also another blunder on the part of the government. It's either you come and explain in full, or just stop it, because it's normal for people to say, I'm resigning based on personal grounds. Okay, even though he's a state minister. But he might resign based on personal grounds and not to reveal that. Maybe it could be, for example, somebody can resign because maybe the person is sick, okay, and does not have to reveal the type of sickness that he has to resign. I'm just giving an example. So the government could have said, Abba resigned, the president accepted his resignation, he resigned based on personal reasons, and there's nothing wrong with Abba even coming out, even his resignation letter, being out there in the public to say he's resigning based on personal grounds. But what we have seen is the government or the president's acceptance of his resignation, but not Abba's resignation letter.
Exactly.
And there the issue of transparency and accountability comes in, because Abba is a public servant. Abba is being paid from taxpayers' money. So if he's resigning, a government that claimed to be transparent, that claimed to be promoting the tenets of transparency and democratic accountability, should be open enough to tell us everything or to give us everything. Now, they had that option to either say personal reasons and stuff there, but the moment when they went to say, contravene his position as state minister, now they are duty bound to tell us exactly
what he did.
What he did. But that was not stated. They only said the section, and now Gambians should have gone for that. And that's why, I mean, for me, Gambians talk about some of these things just 1-2 days and be done with them.
Yeah.
But people, people should go further to find out what has Abba done which contravenes this particular section of the Constitution, because that talks about misconduct. What is the misconduct there exactly? But it leaves us to be speculating because we're not going further. We are not pushing the government to come out and talk to us. And also one thing that makes it very interesting is that I think it's the Director of Press and Public Relations, Amibojan Sisoho. Also, for the first time, made an audio.
Really?
An audio recording, yeah.
Audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was saying it in Mandinka. Abasanyang resigned, just interpreting exactly the government press
release. Okay.
So that was for the first time. I was like, okay, what is happening here? Why is Amibojan coming out for the first time? Either based on resignation or because President Barrow has also relieved people of their duties, including yourself. But I might be wrong, but I've never seen Amibojan coming out to give that
emphasis and explanation.
Exactly, emphasis on that. But he came out this time around to say something about this, which shows that it's something special. It's a special case. So it only shows that our government needs to be more open and transparent, accountable. And of course, it shouldn't stop there because there are speculations. I mean, and let's talk based on that. Some are saying it has to do with money given to him. That's what some are saying.
But even before the speculation, there are facts that have also been established.
Yeah, the National Audit Office report.
There's been a National Audit Office report.
And the Governor's Office,
Governor's Office.
Yes.
And there is also an investigation that actually happened. The NIA did investigate Abba's ministry, the Ministry of Lands, that we can confirm. And the President has the report. Now, the content of that report, we cannot be specific on it, but we know it has to do with land issues, including the one in Kamalo and the Kotu Strip. So allegedly there are over 20 lands that are being investigated on that report. And that is a fact that the NIA did investigate. So if the government has set up an investigations against a sitting minister, I do know that the President has said audits are opinions. So, they did clarify that. So maybe the audit report, I don't think that would be a major issue. But for a government to set up an investigation on a sitting minister, don't we deserve to know something like that?
Absolutely. Especially where the NIA is involved. Because, I mean, NIA has definitely nothing to do with, just ordinary crimes or something. When the NIA is involved, then we are talking about state security or something of that sort. So, I don't know, that's what...
So that's what I'm trying to say. The government, for the fact that investigations have been opened, for the fact that it is established that his ministry, there are some, controversies around land issues in his ministry. That begs the question: why is the government not
coming
open?
out?
Why is it not open to the people as to what the man did that will warrant his resignation? Because Abba will not come out, may not come out to tell us exactly what happened, but the government is duty bound to tell us exactly what happened. And of course, lands ministry is one of the most controversial ministries. And even his predecessor, there have been allegations out there against him that he did a lot of things. These are allegations out there in the media. It has not been established, by any investigations or so. But there are allegations out there against the predecessor in that particular ministry. And that is why some even argued that that was the reason why he was moved from lands to the Ministry of Fisheries. So it seems because land is an issue in this country, especially in the Combo area. And I wouldn't be surprised if a state minister has to resign or is being investigated and found to be guilty or culpable of acts that are contrary to anything that has to do with the management and management of land in this country. So I think there is more to this, and the government is not just open to the people.
And even the permanent secretary has been moved.
Even the permanent secretary, the reshufflement we have seen in the permanent secretaries, lands, agriculture, to the office of the president, to the youth and sports and all that. We have seen all that. And one thing it reminds me is that see, this government seems like, okay, I'm sorry to say this, but it's like we are running a government that is not, we're having a government that is not even taking us serious. Because when I look at even the reshufflement of the permanent secretaries, I saw on a media house, when they said, to be specific here, I read it on Fatou Network when they said, a particular permanent secretary, they mentioned, I can't remember, is being moved. And when they mentioned the permanent secretary's name, they said, the husband of NPP's Maimuna Balde. And I was like, why is the wife's name coming
Exactly.
here?
Why?
It seems there's something fishy. Something is wrong somewhere. Why is the wife? Because this person is a public servant. Why do you have to mention, the wife's name? And of course, the wife who is associated with the president. And people are saying, with the president's party, people are saying, even the wife is not in good terms with the agriculture minister, is not happy that, the agriculture minister does not want to work with the husband and all that. So it means people are bringing personalities, personal interests into government. Yeah. And the president is just accepting this. If we are to be blunt and be honest, President Barrow is not taking this government serious and is not taking the Gambian people serious.
Could it be they are also taking their time to establish the facts before they come out and tell us anything?
It's not even about, let's forget about Abba. But what I'm saying is, the way people are bringing about personalities into these issues, the way people are bringing personal interest into government affairs or state affairs, and the president is silent about all these things, something is wrong somewhere. And it might be that they are taking their time, but already you have said that investigations have been done.
Yes.
The NIA have done their investigation. The audit report is there, which the president described as a mere opinion. So for me, it wouldn't even be appropriate for him to take action based on the National Audit Office report, because you have just regarded that as a mere opinion. Why would you hold somebody accountable for that? But for me, Abbas' resignation sent a signal. And the signal is that there are a lot of things happening in government. If a whole state minister can resign based on misconduct in line with what the government pressure states, then there is something fundamentally wrong in that government. And it shows that the president, if he's serious about fighting corruption, just like we said when he established the Commission of Inquiry into local government councils, we said there should be a thorough investigation. All government ministries, including Office of the President itself, is not free. It's not innocent in this, because the National Audit Office report clearly implicates the audit of the Office of the President. Of course, yes. Dubiously
many occasions,
contracts. So if President Barrow is serious about, if this is all about fighting corruption, maybe he wants to make sure that public officials are held accountable, and Abbas' resignation is a step towards that. If that is the case, then I think it needs to be thorough and holistic. Let them look at all government ministries. This is not only a land ministry problem, but you have other ministries that are equally culpable. And even of the Office of the President itself has questions to answer as far as allegations of corruption and misappropriation of funds are concerned in this country.
Edi, before I come to my next question, Edi, when you heard about Abbas' resignation, what was your first reaction?
Yes, I was told by a friend. He called me and said to me that, did you hear that the lands minister has resigned? I said, no, I didn't hear about it because I was busy listening to music. I said, okay, then I went to the Kerr Fatou page, then I saw an interview that he did with Mustafa Dabo.
Yes.
And I checked it, it was about 3 hours. I said, now let me download this thing because I can listen to it this night.
Wow.
Then I downloaded it, and I listened to it in the morning.
Wow.
After listening to it carefully, then it's the time I understand, yes, he has resigned, all these things that people are bringing about, I started understanding them there from that interview. But then, if he resigns, as Jawo said, that he did something contravening to his office, it means I think he would have been fired and then investigated. I think that would have been the procedure.
Why would you encourage? Why would you push him to resign?
If he resigned,
that's a favor.
And then say he did something contravening. Maybe if he resigned for reason based on him for personal reasons, as he said, as I said, maybe that one people not, because the way if you say he resigned and things,
and you even thanked him.
Yes, it created more questions and answers. You understand?
Yeah.
So then, now he has, he has resigned. People used to say that, Africans are allergic to resignation. I heard one guy saying that, but it seems. But as Demba said, Satan Jawo did it.
Dr. Siddhartha
I think she did.
Former IGP, Kinte.
Exactly. Yep. So, but then, for this one, he resigned, but he did something wrong. They say something contravening to his work. That's why he resigned. But then, if he is still investigated, let us wait the outcome and see. Because you are citing some numbers so that he has been investigated by the state intelligence agency about lands, Kamalo, the Kotus trions of people like me and other people. We are very much bitter about the Kamalo affair because when Kamalo just behind our backyard, we have seen Kamalo partition and then just kude like that. You understand? For us, we thought Kamalo would have been reserved for even a national purpose because there's land scarcity. But then, whatsoever, if he is, he's still investigated, and they said he has done something when he was governor Nagam. I think was that also he would have been checked properly before being appointed.
Before being appointed, exactly.
As minister, because if he did not have a clean record, he was a governor, and he was not checked properly. He was just taken and appointed as a minister like that. I think that also created more talk. But then, if they don't come also and clarify and say he did this and this and this and this, it will just leave us speculating. You understand? Esa can think whatever he thinks and then analyze in his own analysis the situation, what he would give to, and he said as he sees. Likewise, me, likewise, any other Gambian citizen. But I think maybe they are investigating him. Maybe they'll come with
just to add quickly on what he said, his records as governor, it's CRR. If you're telling us that he did certain things while he was governor, like you rightly said,
I want to be specific here on what happened there.
Okay.
It's alleged on the audit report that
the farm,
there is a Sampule farm is a business that was his own business that he has awarded over $1.2 million a contract to. So as governor, he was doing business with himself.
The conflict of interest.
Exactly.
So there's conflict of interest there. At some point, they had to even change the business registration, remove him, and put some other shareholders as the owners of the business. Also, altogether, there were they were paying themselves some night allowances and others. So in total, in 6 months, it was alleged that in his time, in 6 months, about $7.9 million was misappropriated, or there were scandal around that much money. Now, how do we? Number one, the first question you will ask when you appoint somebody as a state minister or a director or somebody, what kind of vetting process do they go through?
And that's important.
Because that is why, in fact, in the new draft constitution, it was stated that Parliament should, and that is what happens in even bigger democracies in America. All these nominations that the secretaries of state and others that the president appoints, he nominates them, and they go through the ambassadors, and they go through the Congress or Senate for approval. That helps to even judges. Now that helps to look at them properly, look at their background, look at their their records, to just make sure they are the right person for that job. Now, for somebody who has run this office in 6 months, and it's alleged that he has misappropriated over $7 million in that short period, and that person becomes the minister for the biggest ministry that has the largest assets of our country. Whose fault is that in the first place?
Yeah, so like you said, this shows one thing, and that is why normally when people argue that Gambia's democracy, it's something to be proud of, we are making significant progress, I tend to question what is the level of our democracy? At what stage are we in our transition? There's a term called what we call monitory democracy. Monitory democracy is about constant public scrutiny and accountability, and we'll get to that when we talk about the Senegalese situation, because it also has to do with when institutions are failing. And this is where citizens will come in to play their part, ensuring that there's public scrutiny and accountability of government officials, because institutions are failing to do their jobs. So what is happening in our case is that when we talk about our democracy, I think that is why I always argue that one failure of this government, of the Barrow administration since assuming office in 2017, let's start back in 2017, has been the failure to initiate or to bring about legal and institutional reforms. If there should be serious institutional reforms, of course, the legal reforms include the new constitution, and the new constitution would have catered for certain institutional reforms, and that includes vetting of certain public officials before they assume office or before they're appointed. You just nominate them, and Parliament can confirm. Just like the how do you call it again, the ombudsman. The ombudsman will have to go through Parliament. And even the commissioners, National Human Rights Commissioners, the commissioners that are appointed, they go to they go to Parliament for them to be scrutinized and then being approved.
The IGP.
Exactly. So these things can happen even to state ministers, so that their track record can be checked. And this is very normal. Even in diplomacy, when you appoint ambassadors, even if you fail to scrutinize them, know that the receiving state will scrutinize them. That is why when ambassadors are appointed, normally it takes time before they assume office, because the receiving state has the right, in line with relevant diplomatic protocols or laws, to scrutinize this particular individual, and they have right to say, we are not accepting this person, and without even explaining to you why they are accepting the person.
Several times.
Exactly. So that happens. So it's good that internally, within countries that claim to be democratic start practicing this. These are good practices. And the draft constitution is an opportunity to have that. But without that, the government itself, if it is a government that is interested in accountability and democratic processes, it should even initiate this to ensure that there is vetting. So the lack of vetting shows that people with bad records, with terrible records in the past, can assume public office, and very critical positions for that matter. And I will tell you that it's not a surprise this is happening. I will be very specific here. The last time when we came here about the Pura thing, I mentioned it, and I'm not shy to mention it, because the records are there, the evidence are there. The Director General, is it Director General or MD or whatever, of Pura, Mr. Yusuf Ajob. Here is a man who is being investigated at the Pan-African Parliament and found to be corrupt. Did a lot of dubious acts at the Pan-African Parliament. Imagine a continental legislative body where he was. In 2018, all the time he was there, he was clerk at the Pan-African Parliament. He was found to be corrupt, did a lot of terrible things there. What happened? He was fired from there. President Barrow brought him all the way from Durban, all the way from Midrand in South Africa, and said, come and serve as the Director General of a regulatory body in this country. Who is he going to regulate when he himself is corrupt as child? So it shows us that Barrow doesn't care about the track record or how clean you are as a public servant. Just come because you want to do his bidding for him, he will get you a position. So which is bad for a democracy, because democracy is not only about Sanjay having the opportunity to sit at Kerr Fatou and be critical of the government and nobody will come after him. But it's also about ensuring that there is judicious spending of resources. It is also about socio-economic rights of the citizens. It's not only about civil and political rights or civil liberties, that I can say whatever I want to say, I can vote in elections. But it's also about ensuring that the socio-economic rights of the citizens or the people are respected. So if we have corrupt public officials who are serving in public institutions, what do we expect? We only expect that they will only be there to fill their pockets. At the end of the day, the citizens will continue to suffer. So for me, it's rather disappointing, but not a surprise, that somebody with a terrible track record will serve in a public office under the Barrow administration because he careless about track records.
Now, Ongodi, we saw what happened to Dr. Banja. It was alleged that he took a bribe of what, 100,000 or 50,000? I don't know exactly what. It's not more than that, right? It was alleged that that's what he took, and he was tried. And he went to jail for 2 years. And the president himself in an interview said, Banja mo betolti barialong, nyumu corruptionalti molien danile, ninga somo. If I wish, he could not, this would not have happened. A lot of people, some said, you know what, they're just doing it to, put to increase their index because people are saying they are corrupt, and okay, let's sacrifice one public official. But a lot of us applauded the government to say, okay, if you say you are setting an example, this is one example.
And Fatou, not to cut you short, this might also be another strategy, just another strategy, just to get the international attention that, the government is serious about fighting corruption. That is why a state minister has resigned. And I mean, the investigation might not even go anywhere.
But that is, in fact, that is.
No, but
because number one, Dr. Banjal ko 50,000 or 100,000. Alias I'm a court. 2 years. About language can in jail right now. Kodi? For 50,000. Somebody, let's just look at the audit report. Ako 7.9 million dollars is scandal abolekono. Thank you for your service. Number one, that is wrong. The president shouldn't have thanked him for his service because the guy did not. I mean, atole fa ya fon the statement oko malfunction perform koma nyanta minkela wala tinna ya force prior resign because wala indirectly wala. So what is there to thank? So was Banja a sacrificial lamb or what? Are we going to see about prosecuted?
No, I mean, honestly, I agree with you. Banja's case was, I mean, he was kind of, they wanted to set him as an example. He was a kind of a, how do you
sacrificial lamb, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he was a sacrificial lamb. But because it's not possible that Banja alone could have been involved in that corruption.
But Banja even mentioned, even in the audio, he said the ministers will have this.
I mean, so...
And that's Musa Drame at the time.
No, it was not Musa.
It was not Musa. So James Gomez, sorry.
So,
James Gomez.
But the thing is, I think, they were not fair to Banja. I mean, he could have been involved in this. It was, I mean, we can applaud the government for at least setting an example. But the thing is, I think they didn't go far enough. They could have gone much further than that because we all knew that Banja definitely was not alone in this. In whatever scandal he was involved in. It was much more than that. But they didn't care to investigate others who were involved in it. So that's it. So Banja is just serving as a sacrificial lamb. That's all. Yeah.
And forget, before I even forget, this agriculture scandal, the permanent secretary who was involved in it, move him to another department. Few months down the line, he was recommended for prosecution. They withdrew it, and the government said prosecution or cancel, and then took him back to that same ministry. And so at some point you feel like
it's not only the permanent secretary, Minister of Agriculture. See, this government has the track record of kind of how would I put it? But even look at the Jawo Commission, the Jawo Commission recommendations. You look at certain people, for example, Chief of Protocol Alaji Sise. You spared him. Okay, you're talking about people like Mambure Njai. You spared all of them. But you have certain individuals that you went after.
And banned them for life.
Banned them for life.
They cannot even stand for public office. And then that is my biggest argument when it comes to Sabali issues. It gets me upset and all worked up.
And
that is wrong.
You spared some people. So this government has that track record.
Yeah.
And when it comes to this issue of thanking, and that's why I've always argued. Sometimes I have this bitter argument with a lot of people. Just yesterday at UTG, in one of the offices, I was arguing with someone bitterly about this issue of thanking public officials. Even if Abasanyang did tremendously well while serving in office, why should we thank him? He's a public servant and we are paying him for that.
Exactly.
I don't thank people for doing their job. That is why, because of this culture of thanking public officials, that is why even this press release, not a lot of people paid attention to that part. You already said that somebody has resigned because his actions contravene his position as state minister. And you have started a section which talks about misconduct, yet you thank that person and people did not even pay attention to that. So it shows that we have this culture of thanking public servants for doing their job is embedded in us, is inculcated in our minds that we can even thank people who wrong us, people who even act contrary to their position, people who are even found to be corrupt, or people who act in misconduct. So it tells you that as a country, we must be serious with development. We cannot be giving position to people yet expect to be thanking them. And that is why, even I know this is not a topic for today, but just briefly allow me to talk about it. That is why even the issue of these vehicles that is being purchased for National Assembly members, some of them will argue that, okay, state ministers will have vehicles, permanent secretaries will have vehicles. But hey, these people, Gambians are not buying vehicles for these ministers. Gambians are buying vehicles for the office.
Yes.
When they leave office.
You got it wrong there. Some of them you got it wrong.
How?
No, part of these vehicles, the official vehicles are for the office.
Okay, go ahead. When you finish.
The official vehicles are for the office. When a minister leaves, it stays for the office.
Yes.
So at some point, we are even doing favor to this part because they are telling us that, look, you should even appreciate what we have done. Some of them are saying you should appreciate this because we are paying part of it and you are paying part of it. Where should we? Because for the first time, it's also happening it's just like we are taking our money, buying these vehicles and give it to these parliamentarians because at the end of the day, after they are 5 years, even if they are voted out of office, they still maintain these vehicles. So why should we buy vehicle and hand it over to them and say,
and do you know that they are still being paid, vehicle allowance, how do you call it? Transport allowance?
No, that's the money. So my thing with the vehicle, we are not discussing this,
I know we are not
but
discussing.
I just wanted to bring a clarification. I worked at a parastatal, and I can tell you, if we want to fix this, it is a whole policy. You work at a parastatal as a simple director, as a manager. You are a manager in GAMCEL, Civil Aviation, any of these parastatals. You get a car loan of $1 million. You only pay 500,000 and they take it from your salary every month, 200, and the company is paying the other 500. 1 year, 2 years down the line, you take that car, park it at your house, you apply for another car loan, and they give it to you and you benefit for that policy. I know that because I work at a president. Managing directors, they take $3.5 million cars, right? And they give them 50% free and 50% they own. And they take these vehicles, drive it, company gives you fuel, you drive it 1 year, you said, it's my car, you don't want it to run out, you leave it at home, the company buys a new car for you. This is what is happening in all of our offices. So let me finish.
I got the point.
The reason why I'm saying this, there was a time they talked about the vehicle policy and government refused to implement it. Right. It was going to be a holistic policy where they can change the entire system, how things are done. Now, my thing with this, I don't know, I'm going to be a lone voice when it comes to supporting the National Assembly members. I think they deserve it. Because I've seen parastatals do it. Managing directors getting 3 Prados
is this a good practice?
Years.
If I may ask, is this a good practice?
It's not a good practice, but other people are getting it.
No. But that's my argument.
No, for me, my argument is it should be a policy change.
No.
It should be. Esa, you know what our problem is here? For example, as a country, right? We do things as piecemeal. Right? Instead of saying, let's change the entire policy, we tell the National Assembly member, you guys should not get it. But the argument here is, for example, the National Assembly in the 5th legislature, they were allocated a transport allowance, a vehicle allowance, which they should be deducted, should be given to them every month. Now the policy is, no, we are not going to deduct this money from you. We are going to keep it. For 1 year, it's $1.2 million. Government will not ever give you that money back. It's supposed to be your money. We are putting it towards the cost of the vehicle that we are buying for you. Now, it's either you take this vehicle or you lose the policy in your vehicle allowance or you lose the vehicle. Now, this is a policy that government is giving to the National Assembly members. What do you expect me as a National Assembly member to do?
No. Fad, I think you're getting this wrong here.
No, I'm not getting it wrong. That is my opinion. I'm not getting it wrong. That is my opinion.
It's an opinion.
Okay.
But my argument is, first, let's start with the ministers, because you're talking about managing directors in parastatals.
They are all government
I'm talking
agencies.
about ministers here. There is no minister who will pay 50% towards his official vehicle and the state pays 50%. It's not happening.
No.
That's not the vehicles are but for the office.
Office, yes.
So the argument some of them will give is that the ministers are getting it. Why not us?
But they have a car loan policy.
No, what I'm saying is
they have a car loan policy.
You see what you are saying?
There is a car loan policy.
It's not even about managing directors. I know public servants in this country.
But that's still not justified.
I know public servants in this country who are receiving the same. Okay, just like it is happening for parliamentarians right now. I am telling you. You see, we're not talking about the legality here. Nobody will question the legality.
I'm talking about the
People
legality.
are talking about
The ethics.
the morality,
Exactly.
the ethics here.
Yeah.
What is good practice here? If you're talking about judicious spending of public resources, if anybody else cannot sympathize with the masses, it should be the parliamentarians who should sympathize with us. If people are not concerned about the welfare and well-being of the Gambian people, the parliamentarians should be, because they are the ones that are directly elected by the people. They are the voice of the voiceless. So what we are saying here is that the ministers for the National Assembly members may get this because, okay, the state is paying 50%. And the parliamentarians are also paying 50%. But a lot of questions are being raised about the timing, who is taking care of it, and how much is involved. If, for example, you're saying maybe $500,000 is, okay, understandable. But you're talking about $1.3 million that taxpayers have to take and put, just give it to you. At the end of the day, when you even leave that office, you are going with that vehicle. Why should we do that? Why?
Did you check the retirement policy of the president and other people?
No, it's not about family. You see, this is the problem. I am saying it's the parliamentarians who should...
And I think one thing I think people should also look at, public service doesn't mean if you are serving your people, that doesn't mean you should just be somebody who doesn't have to have a life also.
No. It's not
people
about
should
that.
be rewarded when they work, so that for example, until I believe, right? Is serving the public instead of the correct corruption or discourage, right? They should have better pay. They should have better allowances. That way, they will not be corrupted.
That's different from this.
What I believe.
That is different from this.
Providing logistics for them. Providing logistics for them.
It costs less than $1 million.
But who is buying? It is the clerk of the house. So let's do it.
It is wrong.
But it's
we
our
are saying
money.
that it is wrong.
It
is not good practice.
No, I don't believe that.
It is not good practice. What we are trying to say is that, but it's not good practice right now. You see, new minister B, they are giving $100,000. Sorry, these parliamentarians $100,000 for clothing allowance.
Can we imagine? And they have sitting allowances as well. And a lot of other allowances.
Where's the $100,000? Probably some of them went to buy lands and cars, and some maybe second wives also. So even the 100,000, why should we even give you 100,000 for clothing allowance? Why? As a parliamentarian, representative of the people, what you should wear to go to work, we should give you that. That is the height of looting from the public.
But we give people responsibility allowances.
But I'm saying these are a good practice.
But we do it.
As a country,
that is why we said, generally we said, when this government came, we wanted to look at everything, like civil service reforms. If these reforms were in place, all of these things would have been taken care of.
You see,
but as long as they are not taken care of, why do you want some other people to benefit from it and others don't benefit from it?
The height of ensuring accountability should start with the National Assembly members. They should be the one to hold the government to account, the executive to account. This is where checks and balances come in. So what we are saying is that Hanatar Munko is a practice. It's happening. It should start with the parliamentarians. It will an example of settler. And we start holding the executive and the government to account. But if you are telling me that, okay, the parliamentarian finance then that's no good practice.
Absolutely.
Well, that's my opinion.
It's an opinion, yeah.
That's my opinion. I believe that they should. Especially when I listened to Honorable Ture.
I
was justified.
Please, Honorable Ture. Honorable Ture, I'm very much disappointed in him.
I am not
because
disappointed.
Honorable Ture can for.
We are going to move on. Let's move on. He is not here. He cannot defend himself. So we cannot be disappointed. When you say he could disappear. Now, going back to our topic, Senegal. Wow. Don't go.
Land ministry
wow.
Like resign. The permanent secretary now is moved to agriculture.
Moving to tourism, office of the president.
Okay.
Definitely another adjustment.
Permanent secretary but even Gambians, including suñ files yaa ngi càng foofu ay lease files yoo xam ne dangaa dem ñu la wax égal wàccal ba nga xam ne sax you cannot understand Gambians citizens yoo xam ne documents yoo xam ne daf leen juum ñu foofu at that land office léegi-léegi sañu la sa file réer na da nga am pour dem ko office to office ñu ut waaye gis nañ ko fii you cannot understand all those things and it's at the land ministry li ñu war a fix Gambians ñu ngi sonn ci loolu man mii di la wax yow sax I'm a victim of that.
Ministry of Lands moom kay du fa génn da nga ko toppa tànka to tànka. When I was doing my list, I followed dama ko dee toppa every single day. They said land bi fan la nekka. And that is the problem here. No record keeping. People soo gisee a lot of people dañ dee wax ne soo gisee Buba Sanyang duñ ko dee musa move. Dafa am institutional memory dafa yaaga. That ministry is all about him. Understand nga? Ñaata yoon lañ ko move dañ ko dee génne ñu delloo si waat ko. And I was telling somebody yesterday man ne ko Buba dina dellu si waat foofu mooy place am. But the fact of the matter is even I know we want to move on, but even land allocations, because one of the reasons yoo xam ne allegedly minister bi loolu lañ ko toppee da ngaa gis ne land allocation da ngaa apply when that land allocation with about ministers bi mu jógee fii. I had Buba Sanyang here and we had a show. And I was telling him, who is qualified to apply? And he said, everybody can apply. That is 7 months back and I applied. I tested the system and I applied. I don't even know where my file is.
You'll never know.
As long as you don't, but you see people, you talk to people, we know each other here. You talk to people, 3 months they have applied for business allocations and they are allocated prime line. So because obviously, so sometimes you think at the end of the day, how are things shared among people, especially when it comes to land allocation?
Kamalo lañ la mesa.
Ni kon Kamalo lañ ma mesa.
No Kamalo suñ boss Kamalo ñun waju suban Kamalo suñ boss la bu Gambia la reserve land la dañ ko bay mu nañ fa def lu bari pour national team ñu fa gaay jox na gaay seen ko gaay investiguer de gaay because Kamalo loolu land la boo xam ne dafa nekk ci xooli dëkk bi par mun nañ faa def loo xam ne lu utee business enterprise ñu koo jox nii individual
we're talking about only Kamalo but shortly before Abbas resignation Lamen
okay.
Suku Sinyade. There was an issue in Lamen and just
I'm hosting them next week. They are so because the
he started the building.
Why so they may bring your government sabopa? A government institution gives you a land and gives you a lease already. Munyo di ko revoke lo hamna ne mun nañ ko def why dafa metti de so that's the kind of mess we're going to be, and that is not the only plan because Lani and then the other day bima do wax Mustafa, these are some of the things that happen. Lani Jammeh mun nga wax ne Jammeh jëlon na Lani dëkk bi yëpp mu fence ko waaye doo dégg ne joxe na ko daf ko lay fence rek teg ko fa. Because this particular land in Lamen we're talking about was part of the lands you have the Jammeh def ko fence on by kofa. So why tay bu guy done them rounds there are a lot of lands. There are some things that
why li wara def moy ne lands fashion lands dañ ko wara delo to the community because Jammeh took those lands from the community like Bato Kunku for instance Jammeh fa fence maga
wow.
I mean community be ko mom dañ ko
community is it somebody I think you came across is it Dave Mane or somebody on the community of Gambian scholars? Is it Palui or Dave Mane? Somebody wrote on the community of Gambian scholars email. And he brought in a very interesting perspective that when we talk about this land ownership, look, these communities existed prior to the coming into existence of the Gambian state,
of course,
as a nation state. So, and they own these lands. How do you come as a state today and say all land belong to the state and the state has ownership of these lands and the state will demarcate, the state will decide who owns this, who allocate lands to people. The ownership and management of land, you cannot enter. So it means that our land laws, we need reform in our land laws, serious land laws in this country, okay, that will try to see how do we, kind of cater for the communities that
land policies.
Yes,
in fact, there is a commission, a lands commission, which has been instituted for almost 5 years now, and it has done nothing.
So how do you come? For example, the state comes and say, okay, this land in Lamen belongs to the state, and we give it to Suku. When the community owner, the people living in that community had existed prior to the coming of the Gambian state as a nation state. So before Gambia as a political entity being created, you have some of these communities in existence and they own these lands. They've been farming on these lands. They've been doing a lot of activities on these lands. So how do we make laws that are alien? These colonialists came, the aliens came, they created alien laws and said, manage your land ownership and control in this way.
Yeah, but
and so these are problematic.
If you want to leave the communities to be deciding.
No, I'm not saying entirely.
That's going to because
I'm not saying entirely communities. That is why I said, trying to see how do we bring kind of
reconcile.
Wasn't there supposed to be a land commission? Because I saw a report. I saw a report on Watson Gambia.
Over 5 years, the land commission they were even sworn in. I mean,
but this
SOC. I mean, the judge.
Yeah,
he's the chairman of the.
But the thing is, the reason why I said the land commission, all other commissions are made visible. They are made known. There was never any update on the last land commission.
And they have done nothing. Absolutely, they have done nothing since then. Nobody knows what they are doing, whether they are even existing right now. And I'm sure the office is still there, and some clerks and others are being paid salaries, but they have done nothing, absolutely, because there is no political will actually to make it implemented.
And also these Kabi rules, these communities, these Kabi rules, these alcalis, and then these so-called briefcase real estates, they messed up the whole land around this area.
Yeah. So there must be ways to reconcile.
And this is why we cannot dodge this question of having the draft our constitution right,
it must be
and
right.
have policies and reforms. If anything that we have failed as a country is when we said from Jame time, Kabrin Jame Tata, institutional reforms. Constitutional reforms and all of these things, we haven't done any of these. Yeah. We are still working with the same laws that was here, same electoral laws, same institutions, no reforms, no nothing.
Yeah, because the political will is lacking, actually. That's the problem.
And that is the mess we are in right now. And for us to be able to fix anything, all of these things, something has to happen.
Yeah.
And that is not happening. And I think that is something, we need to, and that is what is taking us to Senegal. Now, Senegal, Jamanka, yow laay doore bi nga déggee ne Macky Sall déggoon naa la wax nga ne Macky Sall you know the Senegalese dégg naa la nga follow ko bu baax you joxe nga analysis bu baax about what was going on now with everything lu doon xew building up to the last minute ne Macky du ron jàppa Sonko barricade ko këram even though there was no legal paperwork boo xam ne dafa war a am tëj half executive and Demba gis naa ñu nominate new secretary general and other people because all of them secretary general of the party ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi jail over 800 political prisoners party members am ñu ngi in jail loolu yëpp gomoon nga ne Macky Sall bëggutoon tata lan nga foog lu tax Macky mu announce ne du ron
ok xam nga man dama waxoon two things ma ne Macky Senegalese problem bi mën na koo jeexal by just saying two things ne I will not seek for that term, and I will organize elections that are free and fair and all inclusive. So they feel then problem with the Niger.
Why don't they?
Because so kisi manuane hen lulu so kisi manuane card mandate munku moy don't halela. It was clear to me after the fair reforms in 2016. Mo clearly 2018. Ne 2019 elections was my second mandate and last mandate.
Yes. Yes.
waxoon na ne tamit affaire yi mandate daf ko jaar Sénégal totally du am problème boobu bu den bu ko Babacar Fall laajte of the TFM bi mu ko laajte the question on New Year's Eve 2019 after we win the election because February la ngay def election 2019 December New Year's Eve bi bu ko Babacar Fall laajee because prior before that am na ay groupe si doon non président am na mën naa la tëjee man am nga lobby si nii am na ñu doon wax loolu dibir boobu kon on after ñu doon non article 27 bi dafa wax ne two consecutive terms la mu la am beneen so ñu ngi waaye bi ko Babacar Fall laajee da question ne ko président da nga laajte ñetteelu mandat wu soyo daf ko ne du ma ne oui du ma ne non I will say yes du ma ne non because su ma waxee yes then du ma mun a gérer li ñu bëri duñ liggéey understand su ma waxee non dafa créer more problems understand so affaire yi mu nekk that problem so nga gis ne that suspect waaye da nga gis ne people like ñoom Moustapha Jaxate anytime suñu waxee ne that yaa in fa ñetteeli mandat rek da nga gis
mu daxale everybody ku ko wax
I think the director of the garden did something Joe
loolu moo tax ñu dax ko Mimi Touré
waaw xëy na Mimi Touré sa di nga wane after ñoom am nañ seen internal affaire business waaye tamit mu ne moom Mimi Touré mu ne moom loolu bokk na ci ñoom ñaar seen problème
waaw
but then soo xoolee Aly Ngouille Ndiaye the interior minister he was all the time silent about it di soufflé affaire kii naka tuwaati Boun Abdallah Dionne mosuloo ko dégg mu affaire tat man di bi moom après ko génnee sax Macky Sall moom supprimer prime minister si mu dafa bëgg fast track job.
Yeah.
Dafa bëgg def prime minister.
Yep.
Dafa bëgg fast track job. So loolu yëpp mu doon seet naka la moo gën a mun a grave naka la moo gën a so su waxee ne ko bu doon taataam moo tax ma foogoon ne ma ne bu gën a ko.
Okay.
Understand? Léegi internal social pressure bi. Coupled with international pressure bi.
Yep.
Because lim def nii mënoon na koo def March 2021. But then dafa believe woon ni that uprising am na lu ko lifin mooy Covid bi dafa am people we are angry people we are and many people hold that view. Ne xam nga Covid dafa tax people are not happy people are angry nagam. But then the June 4th. Bi mu amee. The writings were clear for him on the wall. Ne foog mu def mu am an honorary exit mu nekk ren wala.
If not.
Dëkk bi am beneen problème. So fu mu nekk moom wax na ne du taaw 50% of the problem is solved now.
What is the other 50%?
The other 50% mooy all inclusive participation. Understand? Because now soo xoolee moom si biir partem pour mu influence success of foofu ci diggante former finance minister bi naan prime minister Amadou Ba. nga xool Alhaji Dawda Jallow. nga xool tamit kii nii di Aly Ngouille Ndiaye. nga xool already Abdoulaye Diouf Sarr di former ministre ak Abdou Aziz Diop express nañ ni ñoom bëgg nañ ñoom already wane nañu Abdoulaye Diouf Sarr ak kii Abdou Aziz Diop. boo dee naaw moom naka laa mën a influencer success of foofu understand ba pare that APR that party is among a grand coalition called Benno Bokk Yaakaar. léegi that Benno Bokk Yaakaar ñu fa nekk ñu bëri.
ñëpp
di nga gis ñoom Farba Senghor ñu fa ñoom Diagne Fada bi demee mouvement yi ñu fa. Pape Diop léegi dem na foofu am na benn PDS yoo xam ne. they are great member of the PDS. they are in the grand coalition some are movement some are political parties. ba dem ñu bëri ñu fa. léegi ñu ngi wax ne def na seen des national dialogue ñu ngi def na recommendation pour Claire Karim
ak Khalifa.
Now suñ Claire Karim ak Khalifa what is going to be now lan la ñu gis in the political scenario foofu because lan la ndax dañoo gis the regroupment of the liberals behind Karim we don't know ndax dañoo gis the regroupment of the socialists because socialists tam understand me people like Serigne Mbaye Thiam don't agitate despite they are there understand Khalifa Sallah moom moo Barthélémy Dias génne nañ indi movement taxaw Dakar but they are socialists in nature understand léegi ñi fa des Abdoulaye Wilane bi fa nekk even this foreign minister Aïssata Tall Sall bi fa jógee nii dem moom tamit socialiste la léegi Aminata Mbengue Ndiaye Serigne Mbaye Thiam Aminata Mbengue Ndiaye moo xam nga mu ngi ko dam waaye Serigne Mbaye Thiam mu ngi agité ndax léegi ñoom dañoo groupe dañoo gis now the regroupment of the socialists and the regroupment of the liberals te already ñoom Sonko radicalize nañ situation bi because indi nañ a new lease of life in Senegalese politics loo xam ne dañ ko doon gis depuis ba ñoom Lamine Gueye ñoom Mamadou Dia ñoom Senghor Demba ñoom Abdou Diouf ñoom Abdoulaye Wade ñu di léegi ñu di comme of ñoom Sonko am na loo xam ne tam gars yi xam nga lifin nañ ko because manage nañ pour influence yu ci bëri young intellectuals like ñoom ngeen Demba Touré yaa ngi na gis yaa ngi gis ñoom Falilou Keita yaa ngi gis ñoom El Malick Ndiaye yaa ngi gis ñoom Bassirou Diomaye Faye yaa ngi gis ñoom Birame Souleye Diop asad naaw ñu ko ci Demba Bassirou Diomaye Faye tam moom tam mu ngi kaso baas El Malick Ndiaye moom di nga gaan ko moom bracelet lañ ko defal waaw soo léegi waaye ñooñu am na loo xam ne gars yi am nañ ko mooy lan mooy manage nañ pour young intellectuals ñoo xam ne they are in university some from university and they become jobs some are lawyers or politicians manage nañ pour that generation ñu am leen ba pare te am nañ ghetto bi understand seen message si nga ak ghetto bi because luñ daan gis in Senegalese politics mooy danga daan gis politicians yu daan ekkati xaalis di jox politicians boo dem naaw di jox mi nit ñi ñaari génne xaalis di jox politician bi it means ne they have programs and policies yoo xam ne it resonate with the people because soo xoolee Sonko moom am na benn advantage bi am mooy lan mooy 15 years mu ngi impé de tax foofu nga xam ne it's a very lucrative area comme ñun fii du ñu jaaree rek fii soo amee fun bu seet ko seet ñu ne di jaay ñu ne demal jaaree soo amee iPhone Pro 14 xam nga soo ko ñu ne demal jaaree so impôt et domaine noonu la Sénégal but Sonko was there 15 years waaye ñu ko investigate and he was corruption free So loolu tànnale dafa am edge over ñu bëri dañ ko comme ci loolu ba pare soo demee through his books Petrol and Gas ak Solution I had one professor who reviewed those books di nga gis his economic policies that he have for Senegal so yooyu am na ñoo xam ne li fi naka ne gëm nañ ko léegi laa xam ne moom some of the radical views like comme lu comme ñu cooki fee gasta Fatou deyal sa yaay jur beneen Fatou am na man welcome do is too extreme when it comes to that maybe not political pressure and depression he na moko de waxlo yu mel nonu but
I think that statement ñu bari dañu ne that was misinterpreted lim waxon moy when buñ ko laaje mu ne am na ñu dee wax ne sax xale seen yaay soo leen dee seen yaay juraat mu ne loolu sax du fi am kenn du dee ba sa yaay di juraat so they cut that part and said he said that but the truth is he's very they are also radical
whatsoever but because communication is very essential when it comes in terms of as a politician or whatsoever you're sending message information to the people is very very important waaye xam naa ne moom léegi soo waxee ni léegi di nga am élection si yéen ko kondoon and Sonko du nekk part of it then the 50% is not solved despite wax na lu taxaw fine many ñu bari congratulate nañ ko si international ñu bari gis naa ñu attendé ko Guterres sama UN secrétaire li fine 50% is good, but now the next 50% more. We organize all inclusive elections because Moon is the first president in Senegal. Yangi organize elections.
Yeah.
So Lolo is historic on his side, coupled with the infrastructural development in Senegal because he had the many in Senegal some development in economic infrastructure, international diplomacy. Why? Therefore, we organize elections. They are all inclusive. There will be no problem.
Uncle D, Macky, he's standing in the sub-region. You know, he's an elderly state president. And Senegal, most of the time, we been said as Dekabo Hamne as a model of democracy. I think in the sub-region, and one thing that is also very unique, Macky the only president in Senegal, dafa oversee election without Mubokachi. But I always tell people, I don't know, maybe some will say you are against, you don't like Macky. It's not that, but I feel like Macky is not running because the constitution did not allow him to run. So should we congratulate and thank him for that? Or is it because of the situation that was created in Senegal? Because I saw President Barrow, I saw UDP. I'm thinking, especially for UDP, they should be telling Macky to release political prisoners because UDP is an opposition. If somebody has arrested 80 or 800 people of their supporters, they will be expecting people to say that. Because the reason why I say this, one time we were talking about Senegalese issue here, and somebody said because UDP, so we say, issue time, but when you arrest Sonko, these are internal issues, they cannot comment on it. But if they had now decided to comment about it, to thank Macky, they might also go further to tell him, can you also release the political prisoners? Because you cannot just thank him for doing what he is supposed to do and short nga em fofu non waxu loko li mo def opposition barricade ko xamne loi liw ko te yow suñ la ko defé daf la na hari you are in the same position, you are in opposition.
I agree.
So the UDP statement then moy lolu baro sax mo mun na ko understand. Why UDP man bobu mo
well so ko fatleko man I've always insisted that Macky is not going to rule.
Yes, you have always said that.
I always said so because I cannot imagine Macky with the the profile bim am ci Africa be neka AU chairman be pare the respect bim am within the sub-region of non mu wara flout the constitution itself, mu wara run for a second term, which is no longer fashionable. Even in the Gambia here, of course the law allows President Barrow to go for a third term because the constitution is is blank. He can go forever. But the thing is, third term is not fashionable anywhere. So I don't expect. I always insisted that Macky was kind of a strategy planning, but I think he overdid it. Because the thing is, strategy when suko telo na wa muna am na coalition am bidawa tas he didn't want that, you know. I mean, that's why he was keeping people in suspense up to the very last minute. Now we have only 7 months to go before the elections. Legi nak, you know, fan la lolu by party MD, you know, that's the APR, and as well as the coalition, because it's very likely that the coalition, I mean, other component parties of the coalition insist this time send on la put up a candidate, and that is going to cause, I mean, problem within the coalition itself. Man, I'm foreseeing that coalition will have maybe they will have to rebuild another coalition, APRC with other maybe political parties or something. That's very like, because he has not just done justice for them by living until very late at this hour. And he shocked a lot of even state ministers didn't know.
Exactly. Because I was watching one program, TV program, a state minister was shocked when
was giving it to his chest.
Yes, he kept it so sacred. A lot of people didn't know.
Everybody was in suspense. You know, nobody knew it. Why, man? Honestly, I had no doubt that Maki was not going to go for it. Third time, you know, man, that was my object. I would have been very much disappointed if he did. Okay, let you are congratulated for doing this. Maybe the congratulations is because he has averted, you know, a situation in Senegal, which if he had announced and averted them, then definitely there would have been very chaotic for Senegal as well as for the sub-region. So the very fact that he has come out clean to say that he's not going to run, probably, you know, people, he deserves to be congratulated for that, for doing that. But, you know, I mean, respecting the constitution, because the constitution was changed in, was it 2019 or I can't remember when. Anyway, there was a new constitution.
There was a,
which changed the term from 7 to 5 years. And according to, they said according to that constitution, it says that, I mean, a president has the right to go for 2 5-year terms.
2 consecutive.
Consecutive terms. I don't think
well, I don't know
2 terms, but it should be like interpretation.
Well,
it would have gone to the constitution.
If it has been only 2 5-year terms, then, you know, then he's within, or he could have gone as for a third term, if that was the thing, because it's a new constitution. So he has started his first 5 years and he's going for a second 5 years. But if it is consecutive, then it means that he has already served one. So he can only serve one. It depends on what the constitution says. But anyway, whatever the case, I think Makili de Fumnekani right now to avert any other, you know, I mean, tension or whatever within the country. I mean, now he has pardon Karim Ak Khalifa. You know, they are free to run for election. Why can't he do it for Sonko as well? Lola waron dem, dafa waron dem. You know, bole ñep so that the Jamanka one, you know, all inclusive, so that everybody who wants to contest the elections is free to contest the elections. Lola waron dem to avoid any kind of trouble. Why about these political prisoners you are talking about? I think, you know, it needs to be qualified because the destruction in Dakar. Some criminals were definitely involved. And those people should not be, because, I mean, look at what they did to the university. They went and, you know, burnt out everything, their records, the computers and everything. They went around over 100 buses, Dakadim buses. They burnt all of those. I mean, definitely criminals were involved. And those criminals definitely don't deserve to be, I mean, to be punished.
Criminals were involved. Criminals were involved.
You know, they maybe have to.
But that is why, you know, even France 24 and RFI and other international French medias, Al Jazeera, especially the French media, who were always supporting Macky, they were the one who first exposed the Macky government. Because, you know, there were civilians who were holding guns in Senegal during the riot. They were working with the police, no uniform, no nothing. Now, when the government came out and did a press conference and said, oh, Sonko brought mercenaries who had guns and others, and said that, the RFI brought in videos to say, no, minister, no, what you said is wrong, because these people were working with the people.
Whoever were involved in the destruction were
but those people were not arrested, number one. It is only political. But some people were even arrested in their homes, who were not even in the streets. So, for example, for me, my argument is, if the UDP, right, ECOWAS, UDP, or anybody is calling to congratulate Macky, they should not just stay there. There were 40 people plus that were killed just 2 weeks ago. When there was a riot in Senegal, they never commented on the riot. They never issued a statement on it. They said it's internal issues and all that. Now, these circumstances is all tied around. If you're making a statement, at least, you know, you should have also
mention that in a statement. That is what is morally right.
I mean, when they identify political prisoners, definitely they should be released.
They should be,
because it's politics. But the criminals definitely
they should be
released.
They should not be released.
Bond and I mean,
no, nobody should destroy properties.
Those people are criminals. And also for the case of Sonko, I think what they are doing right now, I mean, barricading ministers. I mean, I think that's to the extreme as well. They shouldn't do that. They are not only punishing Sonko, but punishing his family as well as the neighborhood as well. I mean, that's very unfair. I think the government should really revisit that policy or whatever they are doing right now. But again, I agree. Sonko also, I think he was a bit too radical. Because the very fact that he left Zigansor with a caravan saying that he's going to the Palais to get Macky Sall out. I mean, the trouble started in Kolda. I mean, somebody was killed there. I think that was just too extreme. I think he was. I mean, definitely, I agree that he's a very popular politician, but the way he was pushing, it was too hard. I mean,
that's the only language our politicians, our governments, our leaders
understand.
That's the only language our leaders understand.
I mean, Macky Sall said the same thing. So this is the thing, Uncle D. When people say, "Oh, Sonko is being extreme," he's telling Macky Sall, "We're coming for you," or he's telling the soldiers, "Don't follow these people." But that is exactly what Macky Sall told Ablai Wade in 2012.
Yeah,
Ablai Wade never took him to jail.
But he never took a caravan saying going all over.
No, Macky Sall took. I am Bajo Kala Daboko Tayamuta. We are going to take Ablai Wade from the Palais, and nobody killed him. Nobody barricaded his house.
Honestly,
so these are things, political statements that people make, and I think
I think Sonko was pushing too hard. I mean,
that's that is the is the new way of politics against the establishment. So that is what I
think.
It was
like when Sabali said before the local government election.
At times, that will lead to rioting. You started as a demonstration, it will lead to rioting. If we are too extreme and too radical, to say Gatsa, to say Chukife, those ones, as Mr. Jawo said, I concur. Because as much as we send the message, we send you a message and just give peace a chance every time you speak as a leader. That's very, very important. Very, very important.
But do you think that's important? But do you think, like right now, like Mr. Jawo said, for example, there was a dialogue, right? And I saw somebody today said Macky Sall is saying that they're going to create room so that Karim and Halifa Sallah can join. Everybody said this was cool. This was a deal that they all came up. Look at what Ablai Wade did yesterday. Congratulate Macky Sall and tell the Senegalese people, please vote for my son. He's coming. He's going to be the candidate. Everybody knew it was planned. But when Ablai Wade, let me finish. Let me come. I'm bringing my question. When Ablai Wade, when Karim went to jail, he was accused of stealing billions, right, from the treasury. Somebody brought it up yesterday, and he never paid that money back. When Halifa Sallah also was accused of stealing from the treasury, from the people's coffers, right? He was never seen paying for that money. But Macky is working all of this out to get them all freed up and join the election, which everybody welcome. Yeah. Now, this person has an issue with somebody, that's my defame, right? He doesn't owe the treasury or the Senegalese people nothing. He also had an issue with another lady, and which even then was Rebi Amut, right? But still, that person cannot be forgiven. This person is barricaded in his house, even though there is no judiciary thing. His children, 1 month plus, that's
not fair.
But do you think that is democracy?
No, that's definitely
jail mobile attack ko diko nitami luta do ote chokefe. Because sometimes you push people, they don't have dole. What they have is their voice and their supporters. What do you expect people to do in those kind of situations?
But if you Chokefe, where does that leave Senegal? I mean, you're leading to destruction. You're destroying your own country.
But dear, we are also saying that this guy has been attacked in his own car.
Right now, he cannot even see his lawyers.
I mean, the window's been broken.
Honestly,
what we are saying here, the barricade on Sonko.
It's not justified.
It's not justified.
Definitely.
We, all of us, we agree that there should be free and fair elections and all inclusive. That is peace.
Yeah.
You never d'accord nañ ci loolu. Understand? Waaye nga Ablai Wade, Macky Sall, Idrissa Seck, any other guy ko gis fofu ci this liberal ñi.
Yeah.
doomi Ablaye Wade lañ biologically ak politically xam nga problème bi indi Ablaye Wade ak boy yi ñoom Macky Sall ñoom Ségué ñu am problème because when bi indi Karim bu ko
dafa bëgg a dugal
bu gaay gis ne he is preferring his biological son over the
political son
ñu def struggle bi waaye gis nga every time soo xoolee Idrissa Seck man ni ma ko dee gisee he is very intelligent and politician bu lifin la waaye dang dee gis ne da benn ka piyo gi Ablaye Wade ci place yu bëri 2007 soo xoolee ni ñu tëralaa ci opposition bi nga moom moo ñëw taxaw nekk bi ñëw fu na moo ñëw second after Ablaye Wade waaye di nga 2009 bu ñëw tenoo ak ñoom benn sigil Sénégal rek mag tenoo ak kii nii Dieng ak tenoo Dieng ak Niass bu ñëw pour Macky Sall ak gis nga ko ak mu amee problème
2012 ñu rally behind him
bu am problème ak Ablaye Wade ba mu ñëw form parti bi mu ñëwee gis nga moom Seck moo fa nekkoon di ak yu ak gars yi di wax ni ak ñu opposition yi léegi mu ci Ablaye Wade mu ci Macky Sall mu dem campagne bi mu ñëwee ñu def élection dafa jël second so léegi li gars yi di gis fii because léegi soo xoolee Malick Gakou xam nga mu ngi yeewi te Malick Gakou xam nga lu tax mu am problème ak ñoom Niass AFP la nekkoon ci parti Niass bi is because of lu Niass bëgg a dem seeyal AFP biir
APR
loolu la bañ dem gars yi fall apart den Malick Gakou yaa ngi ko ca mu ngi yeewi foofu te dafa am presidential ambition Déthié Fall ki gars yi mooy number 10 coalition bi ak kii di kara yeewi moom bi nii gi nga ko moo tax dafa am political
ambition ñun ñëpp
ak Némé
waaw léegi yeewi ak Wallu Sénégal intercoalition bi ñu defoon
tas na ba pare
ak mu tas na waaye te Wallu PDS la ak yeneen parti yeneen mouvement naaw léegi PDS yi nekk fële man li ma ñu nekk Benno Siggil Sénégal ndax duñ gis sa gaxe ñoom Ablaye Wade génn bi bi de prononcement Karim mooy yi ñëwaat foofu waaye nga loolu yëpp su amee is beautiful amuñ problème si loolu PS ñu duggoon amuñ problème si loolu bu dee ñu bàyyi ñu soñ ko tamit participate now whoever wins
the Senegalese people want
that's democracy whoever wins that's democracy du ko defee noonu da ko doon war gaa ñu avancé
loolu léegi lii yëpp what impact la am pour suñu dëkk bi Gambia die président gis naa ECOWAS parliament seen chairperson bi Dr. Snow mu ngi wax ne Gambia in fact he did not shy away from saying it. He said President Barrow should not run for the third term. The fact is we don't have term limit in our constitution.
Exactly. Well,
President Barrow su ko neexee mun naa run 10 times.
Forever
su ko neexee. loolu mooy suñ constitution ñun.
waaye li ma ne is a trend in the world right now.
nee bëgguñ loolu. because soo readee kooku interview am bi sa in depth. mu ngi laa woon ne si Macky Sall sa ñoom xam nañ ne du run because of negotiations. If you read the entire article. There were negotiations because ECOWAS tam ñu ngi push loolu noonu pour taam yi ni ñu jeexal ko si Africa anga ñu ngi ko lii am na ñaari country yoo xam ne nangu ñoo sign. He did not mention the countries but mu ngi emphasize ne Gambia President Barrow dafa war a make sure bu mu use constitutional technicalities. He even talked about the suñ constitution bi now waaye ñun as a people ndax ñun am nañ any doole pour wax President Barrow ne defal comme nag sa big brother Macky Sall.
Of course, you agitate for it, because Limalane is a trend in the world. Constitution will allow to run forever. But because of the trend, people don't want anybody to go beyond 2 terms. Okay, I'm going to Barrow be more into power. He promised 3 years. Legi allow na kumu jehali 5 years and be pare demat another 5 years. So legi I think people definitely want him to call it quits this time round. And it's very likely that, Hamnane Barrow Munge enjoy the trappings of power. He would like to stay for it. But he may also be playing a kind of politics. Limaki Saldi playing on. Because I'm on the time for during the Korite,
Mungdon something like that.
Foundation is already even identified his living. So Lolu Dafa Fanane message Bobu. am na ci gaayam bi nekk ci within his group ñi ko interpréter ne mu ngi dem si. so dégg naa ñooñu start nag di live.
but did you forget that he announced after that he announced.
that's what he's coming to that.
balee jiitu waaye mu realize ne within his camp. am na ñu xam ne door nañ di agitate di look for trying to see whether they can be able to this way. So for now looloo ko prompt the second time, I made that opportunity, I announced that, he didn't directly say that he's going for a third time. Why one and exactly. So no, so it could be that. Probably he's also playing this, but I know he's enjoying the trappings of power, and if he has his means, he can go forever.
Well, for me, this whole thing, I think we had a program here on this when the Pastor guy and the Appear came.
Actually, that night, the Appear guy, the Appear guy we had here, right? I was tweeting on my status because they are all on my status, and I was putting out the Maki statements and everything, and some of the reactions, some of the stuff, what they were crying, and he said, Amadou Balenyo in the legi. He was very disappointed, but they have accepted and moved on.
Yeah. So at some point, like the question you raised is very important here.
Yeah.
Why congratulating Maki? Why thanking Maki? I mean, for me, I don't know why somebody with the, I mean, I don't want to use this term anyway, but I cannot just imagine why someone will thank Maki for doing exactly what he's supposed to do. That's number one.
Yeah.
And somebody who already has blood on his hands. That's my, I mean, you might call it radical, but that's my radical opinion. He has blood on his hands. Now, people say that Maki was not going to run, they knew about it and all that. For me,
I believe it was pressure.
It's pressure.
Yeah.
You see, international pressure and domestic pressure, whenever these were in fact the two reasons why Africa even moved towards multi-party democracy in the post-Cold War era. Not only was international pressure mounted, but even domestic-wise, internally. Civil society and citizens were mounting pressure on the leaders, and that forced them to organize elections. So for me, if Maki had it his way, I can guarantee you that he would have contested for a third time.
It was Senegal.
But the pressure, this is the reality. Just because Maki came and said, okay, I'm not contesting, people said, yeah, people might be right that, okay, he might want to contest. But for me, in my opinion, this guy was determined by all means to contest for a third term.
But he never said so.
No, he wouldn't say it.
But he was acting it.
He wouldn't say it. Yeah. But it was very clear. You see, if you're not interested in running for the third term,
you
just be honest to people and tell them, you create all these things. Tell them, no, I'm not contesting. What is wrong with, like he said, what is wrong with him saying it in 2021?
When that serious issue, 13 people were killed.
What is wrong with him saying it? But now he has no choice, knowing fully well that if I should mistakenly announce that I'm going to contest for the third term, then even my own security, my safety as the president is not being guaranteed, because that is where Senegal will be heading to, which is very unfortunate. It's not only, this will not only have implications on Senegalese peace and security, but even this personal safety of Maki wouldn't be guaranteed, because it can just throw Senegal into uncertainty and chaos. So for me, he was all determined to make sure that he contests for a third term, but just because the situation wouldn't allow him, the Senegalese people will not allow him to do that, and that is why he just have to bow down to public pressure not to contest for the third term. Coming to, I mean, the people that congratulated him, like you mentioned, the UDP and all that, yes. When they say internal matters, these are internal affairs, we don't want to comment on them. Why are you even commenting on this? Why are you congratulating him if it is internal?
My point.
Because there are people who will disagree why congratulating Maki in the first place. Yeah. There are people who are bitter. There are families that are crying today.
Yeah.
And they are not sure that justice will be served. They have lost their loved ones. You have never commented on that because you believe that this was an internal affair. Why congratulating somebody who has blood on his hands if you think this is an internal affair? And that's why the chair of the ECOWAS Parliamentary Committee was quite right. And you see, I like it when people are so bold and straight to the point.
He was very straight to the point.
Why do you have to beat about the bush? Tell the man the truth. Yes, it is good that he's not standing for a third term, but President Barrow equally call his name and tell him exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember just 2 months ago or so, there was a meeting that was held here in the Gambia. They also told him clearly.
The same man.
The same man.
Yeah.
They told him clearly that you cannot contest for a third term. You see, people want to differentiate. There could be difference that in the Gambian constitution, we don't have a term limit. Term limit, and that is why President Barrow can run, and it is within his rights to contest for the third term or fourth term because we don't have a new constitution. But You see, that is a manifestation of the failure of his government.
Of course, yeah.
To bring in a new constitution that he promised in 2016, to embark on legal and institutional reforms in this country. If today we had a term limit in our constitution, whether it's retrospective or not, but at least we will be certain that at some point President Barrow will not be able to contest.
Exactly.
Yeah. But right now, it is open that he can contest even for a third term or a fourth term. And I must say, even though, yes, this could be diplomacy, him as president, but I must say that I'm very disappointed in him. He has no moral standing to congratulate Macky.
Why?
Because, you see, he himself, even though the constitution, we are talking about, no, I'm coming.
Maybe because he wants to do the right thing.
No.
He said this will strengthen Senegalese democracy.
I'm
the sub-region and Africa at large, including Gambia.
Including Gambia.
Yeah.
You say if he wants to do the right thing, the same thing?
Yeah.
But he already said that he's going to contest.
No, maybe he will change his mind.
Father, we cannot be having inconsistent politicians in as leaders here saying today I will not contest, tomorrow I will contest. We can't be having that. You see, what I'm trying to say,
already have it because he said 3 years.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, he's already been there. He's already a certified inconsistent politician. What I'm trying to say is that right now we don't have term limit in our constitution. That is the biggest failure and the biggest shame to Barrow and his administration.
I agree.
Up to this day, you only go to Parliament and tell us that we'll bring back the new constitution. There are no efforts, no signs that you will even serious about that. So if you as president, you are not making any effort, not showing any serious signs that a new constitution will come with a term limit, you are here congratulating somebody for not running for a third term, that it will strengthen Senegalese democracy, it will be good for the sub-region and even the Gambia. How will it be good for the Gambia?
Even in his
when you as president, we are not making efforts.
He didn't even mention that.
He didn't even show any seriousness.
And the biggest contention with this draft is the...
It's the same thing, just like Macky is arguing. It's not what I'm saying is, it's even about the same argument. It's the same issue. Because Macky's people are arguing that no, the first time wouldn't be counted.
Yeah.
And his issue is also that the first time
cannot be counted. The same thing.
So if Barrow should set the example. You see, if Barrow should not contest for the third term, I think, okay, because he has already missed that opportunity in,
But he can fix it.
I agree. At least he can fix it.
Yeah.
That is by not contesting.
At what cost? How many millions have been thrown into it?
No. I'm saying
if he doesn't run for
at least, even though he has missed that opportunity, by not serving for 3 years, but at least if he should not contest for a third term, I think that he will leave better legacy compared to even Macky.
Yes.
Because at least people will know that, okay, Macky is going with blood on his hands. Macky is going at his Senegal, being thrown into uncertainty at some point. But Barrow is going without us being thrown into uncertainty, without chaos and all that. So he himself should be the best example. And that is why I am saying, the reason why he's congratulating Macky is because he believes that Macky is doing the right thing by not contesting for the third term, but he himself has failed in delivering a new constitution to the Gambian people, which will have a term limit. He is proud of Macky today, because Senegalese constitution, at least Macky has initiated something to say, I'm even reducing from 7 years to 5 years. And now he's not contesting for the third term. That is why Barrow is proud of Macky. So why is he himself not being, honest enough and to come and say, look, I'm not contesting for the third term. After 2026, I'm done with presidency. I'm going into something else, my private business and all that.
He said that though.
So but he came and said that he's going to contest again. So and somebody, just today, I saw Madi and Tumanjai, they tweeted to, not only limiting to Barrow, but also other politicians, like Usain Dabo of UDP. And this is exactly what we are calling for.
Yeah.
Term limit, the issue of term limit and putting an end to self-perpetuating rule. Because I've always argued that the failure to deliver a new constitution, the reason why Barrow will even announce for going for the third term, and it's also not only a failure to deliver a new constitution, but it's also a betrayal to the coalition cardinal principle of putting an end to self-perpetuating rule. When the coalition was coming in 2016, number one concern that they had, why they were so much interested in having our laws reformed, in having constitution in place with term limit, is because they wanted to put an end to self-perpetuating rule. That was what even brought about the issue of 3 years. So for us to put an end to self-perpetuating rule, it must start within the political parties. We cannot have politicians running forever for presidency when they cannot get it. It should start with the UDP leadership. Doye, at least Halifa said he has retired now, but Sidia has not expressed, he has not in any way said that he is retired. So he might be the next Doye candidate in 2026. But we also have other politicians who are leading other political parties, and I've said that. We need term limit within these political parties. Contest for 2 terms. If you're not able to get it, get somebody with fresh ideas, with new ideas. Maybe a paradigm shift. I'm not trying to use Mr. Cham's here after paradigm shift. But anyway, a paradigm shift in a leadership, a new leadership with a new vision, with new ideas, could at least attract people to the party. Maybe that could force people or make people to buy the ideas of the party or to buy the policies and programs of the party. But if the same person is contesting endlessly, that will even give the president the audacity to say that, well, you have within your parties, you have people running, even though there is no, term limit within the parties, but you also use that as an opportunity to say all these people, even if they come to power, because that is also not sending a good signal to the people. That if you cannot have term limit within your party, you cannot guarantee us that when you become the president of the country, you will have term limit in the constitution. So once you have term limit within your party, as in signing the constitution, at least that will send people a message that, look, at least we can trust this guy, that when he or she comes to power, at least there'll be term limit in our concern, and there will not be self-perpetuating goal. So for me, like Jamanka said, 50% of the problem is being solved. Because when Macky announced that I'm not contesting, I saw some people, I think Fatou, including you, said Sonko 2024. I saw the MC Chams 2020, and I was like, okay, wait. We are Team Sonko. Did Macky also say that Sonko is clear now to contest 2024? And when I listened to his speech, I realized that he did not say that. But 50% of the problem is solved. Yeah. Because for me, it was beyond Sonko. Even if they had freed Sonko to say, Sonko, you can contest. And Macky said, but I will contest. The problem will be solved. No. The Senegalese people, what they want is Macky should not participate in this election, and it should be all inclusive. So it means like you said rightly, 50% of the problem is solved. Partly it is solved. Macky not participating, okay, according to him. We can never tell what politicians can do. But at least he's not contesting, 50% solved. But if you say Sonko is not contesting,
I'm sure he's not going to do
that. The Senegalese are saying, let's be careful.
No.
That's what I hear on all the news sites. But the issue is, I think Jamanka touched something, is about the establishment against the newbies in politics. You know, the PDS, the liberals and the socials, right? Now it seems like they are regrouping back. PDS, they're coming, right? Because Macky Sall was, PDS. He's from the liberals. Halifa and the socialists and others, group. Now the Sonkos and others, they're just coming.
The third force,
it's like the US. It's like the US. When the reason why more likely Trump was elected, it's like always the establishment. It's the Clintons, the Bushes, all those people that always get the power to rule, right? Now, let's get somebody who is not known in that cycle. And it seems like that is what is happening in Senegal. People are kind of tired.
The same thing happened in 2016 in the Gambia.
People are kind of tired with the PDS, the liberals, right? The socials, Halifa, they had a social class. We want somebody like Usman Sonko, Casamas la joge, he doesn't have any social class status and all that stuff, but he understands the language of the young people.
Like in Kenya too. Look at Kenya too, the Kenyatta and the Odinga family, and now is Ruto coming in.
And then when Ruto came, people wanted him. And okay. But that is exactly what you were saying in Africa. It happened in Kenya, and it's happening because everybody said Odinga was going to win with how many, imagine? And Kenya, this guy came, Ruto came, and won. And then in Senegal also, now when Kisuwahe, Idrissa Seck, people like, we are tired of this class of politicians. We want the new breed. We want the people that understand our language. Look at their voter registration, the number of young people.
So the Macky camp is definitely not going to have it easy.
And they're going
APR.
No. They're going to do everything to maintain that, and people are going to.
There is going to be a reshuffling of the coalitions. Some parties will leave and others will come.
Others will come.
There is no doubt about that. But honestly, it is not going to be easy for them to make it this time around. Because it's a question of candidate. Is Amadou Ba credible enough actually even to...
He looks like a great guy though, Amadou Ba. I like him.
I think he's better than Dawda Jallow anyway.
He was in the Impo demo with Sonko.
He's better than Dawda Jallow.
He's better than Dawda Jallow. And I see the Maki camp pushing Dawda.
Yeah.
If you're on TikTok now, you see Ade for 2024. You see other people say Amadou Ba for 2020. These are the two contending people. Really?
Yeah. Fatou. I'm not know come yang ko fi wax xam nga comme like Sénégal xam nga ko Ablaye Wade mu doon def kay Ablaye Wade 2004 bi mo gëné sék ñu ko fogo dafa am total waaw dafa indi Landing Savané du ko Landing Savané mo ngi def press conference né indi Sénégal ko fa gis ko ben Landing Savané moko diriger té nga xam nga yow ñu té laaj na dan soxo ñom ba ci li ak ñun yépp ko ko déssé nga ko bi mu boké bi 2007 bu bëggee dem ñoom moom ñu jóg de courant dañ ko war a dem because yow yaa part of yëpp nga ko bokk ci bilan bi kooku parti bi xaar yëpp mujjee tas understand waaye gis nga comme lu gaamee ni day foog naan ok Sénégal day have foreign policy boo xam ne dañ stagnant day remain the same seen domestic policy politics do they influence seen foreign policy
no just like America
weda Sonko ñëw na
just like America
weda Fall ñëw na weda keneen ak keneen ñëw na sen police dossier Gambia la dossier Mauritanie la dossier Conakry la dossier Guinée-Bissau la ñom dossier yépp xam nañu and they've been mastering this file for quite a long time for generations understand ko Sénégal ñun xam nañu dëkk politique la de
non la policy wala unfortunately Gambia
ñun ñoo di doxale noonu
ñun soo xoolee xam nga ñun dañ dee wax waaye man dama ne loi doo ko di defar gi kenn
yes
ñun fii dëgg ñoom baro fail but fail bi mu ngi am just 2017 bi gaa ñëwee
ñoom ñëpp
because they keep us waiting for how many even pour ñu am vice president
because
ñoom ñu ko gënal Jawo seen cabinet bi they keep us waiting for
they were looking at one person and they wanted to
vice president danañ ko compensate danañ ko foog mu nekk vice president te fekk constitution bi feeboo ko waaye dañu am pour toog Gambien yëpp toog xaar ñu change loi boobu pour benn nit boobu rek
I think the coalition there is a false start from the very beginning
foofu xam nga was accepted people don't agitate about it understand ñu pare génne xaalis bu bëri ñun wat Macky Sall di 2016 nii xam nga loolu Halifa proposition ne let us di constitution bu fa nekk ni fa def mais ju am ñu war a def référendum du ko defee muy term limit muy whatsoever xam nga gis constitution ngaa gis nii nekkul constitution Macky Sall fay ne ñu constitution bi ñu loolu de 2001 constitution bi January 7 bi moo nekk nii dafa am provision ci change dafa am
provision change et direct change
so ñun mënoon nañoo def loolu fekk sa demuñ to a draft constitution te fekk term limit dafa nekk ci constitution bi but we did not opt for that we waited politicians di whatever what they lu mu def ñu def ko ñun ñu ngi toog di xool gars yi defar loi pour benn di kur magar magar bi loi boobu taxaw ñu def ko vice président and we were here understand that failure before for the door we fail me
they went ahead again parliamentarians change the law section 911D
pour ñoom seen boppa su nga daaxee fii bul dem fële pour ñu change ko ñoom seen interest ak yu leen ñu ngi toog di xool civil society even nakatuati
don't even mention those ones
this says a lot about us
some of the civil
we
society
don't have strong institutions we have strong men
it's political lifin ak yooyu but then now after bu draft constitution bi ñu spend ci xaalis bu bëri and retroactive clause bi ñun xam nañu moo indi problème bi
moom rek la
te ñoom politiciens yi mënuñoo toog waxtaan seen naka la ñoo mën a génnee loolu mais that after spending that money boobu ñu sànni constitution boobu ku nekk léegi nga ne dañ fail retroactive clause constitution bi whilst when we were failing we were all watching understand we were all watching nga président Jawara 1991 bu mu waxee ne du ma taxaw ci public congress bi Jaara Soma he was right there. He was trying to follow Senghor and President Nyerere. Senghor did it in 1980, 31st December. Nyerere did it in November 1985. And gives me 20-something years since after independence. Now it's time for them to go. Jawara, mu ne dafa dem 1991 gars yi taxaw fii ne ko bul dem. Why moom tam bul dem bi dafa mel ni bëgg a dem. ko after nanguna pour toog but then so seetee benn lecture bi ma attend in 1993 St. Augustine seen hall bi National Union of Gambian Students in Sierra Leone ñu ngi def benn symposium. The speakers were Bola Carol, Augustus Mendy, Halifa Sallah, and Dr. Lamin Bojang of the PDP. But then PPP invited only knowing it was multipartyism and democracy in the Gambia. Halifa Sallah, I'm not looking for that the minute. Fukune Jawara is wise for him this 1992 April election will contest not just them. Because for him staying in power too long will not help him out and will not help the Gambian public, and Gambians are agitating. Now, Khalifa said that this 1993 at the St. Augustine's Hall. 1993, yes. Wow. National Union of Gambian Students in Sierra Leone, they organized the symposium. I was there. Then, 1994, 22nd year, there was a coup d'etat. He was forced out. Jame, once he was on his own amendments, because Jame amount any right to amend the simple majority. Yeah. Absolute majority. Amen ko 2001 dafa win 2006 dafa win 2011 sax mu win la mu ñëw li gis 72% that the same loolu moo ko ñëw daaneel mu nangu ba pare mu ñëwaat di xam wol bi xel ko
exactly.
And people supported him that bu mu bañee.
Waaw he was forced out. Léegi ñu ngi affaire bor kii mu ne naka tuwaati Jawo mu ne it's not fashionable now.
No, it's a trend now.
Loolu bu ko wax xel mën naa jël loolu kii tam mu ngi jaay tam mu ngi wax ne parti yi seen biir seen dafa war a démocratique seen biir encourage tam ñu seen biir balaa ñoo ñëw ci ñun ne dañoo laal di kay loolu tamit lu ñu rafetlu la waaye I think li ñu war a seet from Sénégal mooy the national dialogue boo xam ne Macky Sall def na ko ni President Barrow initiate lu mel noonu.
Of course, yeah.
Wow. So initiate a national dialogue. Then young politicians, ñu toog civil society, ñëpp toog. ñu waxtaan, ñu straighten up things. Now, then ñu waxtaan and we see the way forward.
I think we need that.
Yeah.
That is what we need. Finally, as a program from the waxtaan bi yaatu na neex na, but I think this is a conversation we should keep having. You know, President Barrow, you know, we should ask him. We should continue asking this question. I mean, international community are asking.
Fatou, just to build on to just to build on to Jamanka's point.
Wow.
Historical defeat bum jël fii nii very interesting.
Wow.
Looking at Jawara. Bum ne dinaa dem Gambian si. Ika doolu mooy Gambia Jawara town. Alman tankalaar.
Yeah.
Now he continued. Coup d'état moo ko fa génnee. Came to Jammeh. Sometimes I'm not Gambia without Jammeh. Sometimes they cannot even imagine.
Yeah.
Even when he was going at the airport, okay, I'm not don't joy. With all what happened in this country, some people were crying. Okay. Barrow, okay, Mandama start the parks and all that. Just like you were saying, Hijna, some people started and all that. Yeah. And then Munyo, they want to know, I will run 2026. And people obviously, I'm not Duma ron man maa ngi park pour them am na ñoo xam ne that we are not happy they wanted him to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. The same thing.
I saw somebody said Barrow 2036. Funny.
Exactly. The same thing. The same thing is might repeat itself. Te suñu waree wax ne sa su Barrow waree wax ne sa okay that dialogue national dialogue dañ ko need.
Yeah.
There are people surrounding this man. All that they tell him, these people are your enemies. There is no way that you can even sit with these people.
But it's important that you...
I'm telling you.
Khalid said that here, that when he organized a meeting between Jawo and Mudembe last minute, right? My interview.
Who?
Khalid said that one time.
Yeah.
He said on my interview.
So what I'm trying to say is that unless and until, not to be disrespectful to President Barrow, but unless and until you have a leader who is visionary, you have a leader who understands issues, those are the leaders that can even think of dialogue with the people. A national dialogue, where you talk about national issues and forget about partisan issues and forget about personal interests. When I listen to William Ruto, every now and then William Ruto is like, so if you listen to him, you can see, always wahe wisdom.
Even
always
after everything, look at Odinga did
Odinga is protesting. A France 24 journalist was asking him, Odinga is protesting. The SK was in your country. They said you should not even be president. He might even overthrow you and all that. For me, the decision for me to be president or not lies in the hands of the Kenyan people.
Yeah.
We went to elections. I won. They went to the courts. The court still declared me the winner. I am the president. However, when it comes to protest, that is a democratic right. And I have no control over that.
Yeah.
These are the types of leaders that we need.
But look,
I'm in this country, and it's going to be difficult for us to have a national dialogue because of the kind of leader that we have. I have to be very blunt
here. And the people who surround him.
And the people surrounding him. Because
but the people who
Fadu, what I'm trying to say.
Those advisors?
Fadu, what I'm trying to say is that, you see, sometimes when I say the people are always like, you're always on Barrow. I'll have to be on him because he's the president.
They always tell me.
Don't understand.
They always tell me,
no, because what I don't understand. Sometimes this man will come and say, be very humble. We need national reconciliation. We need this. And just last week, I think he was talking about the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need national reconciliation. We need this.
Yeah.
Next minute, the father Taha on a political platform, castigate his political opponents, even insult them to an extent. How do you expect us to have a national dialogue when you have an inconsistent leader who will say A today and say Z tomorrow? Who will praise people today and then castigate them tomorrow? Who will talk about national unity and reconciliation today and then go after his political opponents? When he went after Mama Kande here, the next thing, Mama Kande came and responded. Some people thought that it's over. He wouldn't attack again. He went again and attacked Mama Kande. When we sat here, election night, local government election, I think I told you people here, when you said, I think his statement after, I think it was when he voted.
Yeah, I said.
You said this will open doors. I told you, and Cham here, that I can promise you that President Barrow will come and make more divisive statements. This is just the beginning of the fight. What happened at the swearing-in ceremony of Rohey Malick Lowe? What happened there? You think that was just out of the... It happened because it was prepared, it was cooked. That's why when the councillors left the premises, what happened? We saw Sidin Jai went with them in the hall to get them sworn in. So it tells you that this man is not ready for anything like national reconciliation, national unity and national dialogue. Even if he is ready, there are people surrounding him who will tell him that these people are your enemies. Because he himself... label Mama Kande as an enemy.
Yeah.
It's Hasido Muti and all that. We are all from, this place, but you are Hasido and all that. So for him, anybody who is an opponent to him is an enemy.
Anybody
to him
who says anything contrary.
So we have to be honest with each other.
Yeah.
For me, it is only a leader who understands issues in this country who can initiate national dialogue in this country. But I don't think at any point President Barrow will be willing to lead that.
And Uncle Iye, finally, what do you think should be the role? What can we take from the Senegalese situation to move on? I know that, yes, there are still issues with the Sonko case. I believe, I am, even though sometimes I don't understand Macky Sall, but even when he was closing his conversation, his declaration, he said, "Mun nañu wax ba tay." A lot of people thought that is directed at Sonko. Because Macky Sall, after everything, I'm not going to be president in 7 months, he would want to live in a grand style. Because if Sonko is not part of that election, Macky is not going to live in a grand style. There will be riots, there will be demonstrations. And some people are saying there will not be elections in Senegal if Sonko is not on the ballot. So Macky will not want that. I believe there will still be conversations, and I still believe Sonko will be part. And that will all happen because there is dialogue, right? And there is no better enemy. Let's say, we can say between Macky and Senegal, Sonko do they want Macky as president, Macky la ko de oye. Macky do they to the Ousmane Sonko si turam. So by this kuram, yep. These two people, you see that, you know, there's animosity, right? But President Barrow ak Dabo, they were one time very close and they had this relationship and they are from the same camp. Don't you think, for the interest of our country, because this issue, Dabo action, so sometimes they look at you, mom UDP la nenko hehni, nenko defni, ki barola, bul wahak mo. At this point, it has gone to the point, it's affecting the productivity of this country. Everything is UDP, NPP, UDP, Dabo Barrow. Don't you think, as the leader of the nation, election cycles, President Barrow should call for a national dialogue, and kuneka na politician buneka am nga right wax lu la neex ci dëkk bi am nga right put throw jobs or criticize government when you feel necessary and it's important, but at least have a level field where people can live and not think there's war or enmity between these two camps.
Of course, but I've always said so. I say what President Barrow should do is, of course, the national dialogue is important. SI is very skeptical about Barrow's ability to organize, but I think it can be done. And where he should start is to meet the opposition leaders first. Let him make it a habit. From time to time, let him call the opposition, let them sit down to discuss the affairs of the objective is for the Gambia to move forward. And if that means, talking to them, and that will help in the situation, why not talk to them? I think playing of politics all the time, I think that's an unfortunate situation as far as President Barrow is concerned. Everything is political. Now, if you look at even our foreign missions have all been turned into politicians. All the failed politicians have been taken.
My brother is going to talk.
That's a bad situation.
My former chairman.
It's a very bad situation. Everything has been politicized in this country. It's not the question of what somebody is capable of doing, but what color of party that the person belongs to.
And DA, what discourages me about this country is when people are serious about. Just yesterday, I saw somebody put up a video and I put it on my status. It could be funny, but at some point it sends a message. Okay, this guy was trying to say that in Europe, even trees have light, okay, so that birds can also sleep and all that. But in Gambia, human beings cannot even have access to electricity. But you see, countries are serious about development. But Gambia, sometimes when I go through social media, sometimes programs, sometimes what I come across, what people talk about, it just discourages me about the future of this country.
Yeah, this is...
Just not long ago, I wouldn't mention the media house, but I was watching that, it just came across this on YouTube. And they were talking about, okay, NPP, and I'm like, what is wrong with our people in this country? Our people are going to bed hungry. We don't have electricity in this country. NAWEC increased the tariffs and they are not providing better service. All in the name of providing better services, but they have lied to us because they are not providing better service to us. And everybody is quiet about that. Our people, some of our people, Nisol came in GMN. Wallahi, you go to certain communities in this country, more came in water. Some people buy water from Senegal. People don't have access to proper healthcare service in this country. The terrible road infrastructure everywhere. All that we talk about in this country, you will not see anybody being serious about serious issues that affect the development of this country. But these petty talks, NPP, somebody attack this one, as if this country should all be about.
If you remember,
personal
immediately
issues.
after the mayoral elections, what I suggested was President Barrow should meet all the elected mayors, regardless of that party, because we know the bad blood that existed between the central government and the local government.
Jamanka mentioned civil society. Jamanka mentioned civil society.
Exactly.
Civil society that you talk about. That's why Senegalese. I was talking to one of my sisters when this whole protests were on in Senegal. She lives in Senegal. I was talking to her. She was like, "Hana in Gambia, since society civil, right? They call civil society. Since society civil and all that, Hana feeling, this is the problem in this country because we have civil society that will tell you that we cannot be talking all the time.
That's the weakest link.
Then you should close down. You don't have any job to do. If you are telling me that you are tired of talking, then you don't have anything to do. You talk about the draft constitution here. Draft constitution, Bobu Nunu. You see, I tell you that some people are. No, Manda, just briefly, just about civil society. Some people are happy that the draft constitution is not passed. You see, there are people who just want to survive on projects and projects and projects in this country. And that's why I said we have a lot of project-oriented civil society. When the draft constitution came, some civil society organizations now have the opportunity to get money. Sensitization, and when it was passed, some of them were laughing, they were happy because now at least it will be brought back. And when it's back again, it's another project. We are starting another sensitization, another project on training, another on workshop, another on this. So we have civil society who will never be talking about some of these pertinent issues. You're talking about electricity and all that. We say civil society being quiet. Why are people quiet about these things? We're talking about a state minister resigning because the state claimed that He acted in contravention with his ministerial position. Where are civil society? Calling for accountability. This is what we call monetary democracy. When institutions are failing like it's happening in Senegal, because for me, Senegalese democracy has reached a point that the institutions are no more recognized. The Senegalese democratic institutions in Senegal that were praised and recognized as being strong at the time, they are no more. The judiciary is being used by Macky. Okay? The court system and everything else. So the institutions are failing, but the Senegalese people, the public, is standing to ensure that there is public scrutiny and accountability, meaning the citizens take ownership. When institutions fail in democracy, it's the citizens that will take ownership and ensure that there is democratic accountability. That is what we call monetary democracy. But this is what is absent in the Gambia, because civil societies, we have them in quantity but not in quality. They are just mere project oriented. We have weak opposition in the country. We have passive citizens and not active citizens. As a result, there cannot be any serious democracy in the country.
But that is another whole level conversation. But it just brings to the Senegalese situation. For example, when Macky Sall when Abdoulaye Wade wanted to do third term, M23 came, the civil society and politicians joined. When Macky Sall, they thought he was going to do it now, F24. Civil society and F24 came. They came together and formed this group. You don't they care? You call them opposition, you call them politics, they don't care. But our people here, even journalists, they call some of us UDP politicians, they call us just because you say something against the government or you say something against the police. Until and unless we accept these name callings.
It's not about you said something against, it's about you speaking the truth.
Yeah, so unless and until we accept that people will call us names and by doing our job, then we will not act. And
look at Papali, when the Macky guys sat here.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Papali, he was like,
he said he's not a journalist.
Oh, he's opposition.
But
he himself said he's journalist.
Yeah.
That's what he said here. When he sat here, he said he's journalist.
But he supported Macky. But he said Papali is not a journalist because he's supporting Sonko. So you see the irony in all of us. So our civil society, opposition and others, and when people go radical in politics, they say the go in the fitness in the kabi. Why am na yena fitna bahna? Look how Macky Sall the announce man lo la gom. Final message Edi. Foy tejé. Man ñoy la gom.
waaw di la jaajëfal bu baax a te am kontaan trop pour teewoon fi di wax ne rek comme Gambia moom comme war nañ di jàng every time.
Yeah.
Because suñ sub-region bi dafa am some interesting political gisuloo yow Ivory Coast yaagul nii ba Biram Souleye di number 2 Pastef.
Yeah.
mu am problème bi dafa make some pronouncement ba wax ci Alassane Ouattara and he went too extreme. Xam nga bay wax sa kooku define Coulibaly ki ko war na
poisoné mu ne
waaw waaye soo xoolee loolu was very extreme. waaye soo xoolee Ouattara bi ko fee buwaañi di jëlee IMF World Bank di ko indi dafa ñëw it goal economic policies moom revitalize economic Ivory Coast very nice. But then what happened after bu feebaree ñoom xëy na ko naan bidee ñoo ko doon di ko suufu di stop ko ba after sax mu bugg a dem feebar ni ko doon toogal feebar dafa dee rek gars di ko problème mu génn mu ngoon fi BCEAO bi Sénégal seen dat banque fa la nekk bi te ne Ivory Republic bi agité bañ dem foofu la ko political party mu jiite ko but look ñoom bidee ñoo ñëw ne moom du Ivoirien
Burkina
mu nekk fa mu am loolu yëpp after ñoom bi dina ba général Guèye ñëw ku leen ba gars yi nekk fa nekk ba général Guèye ñëw baan leen ñoom ñëpp ba mu ne ok this professor history professor Gbagbo moom rek la moo bàyyi mu taxaw bi ko foog ne ko is very weak masses bi rally behind Gbagbo ne ko you have to go in that affaire sax mu ñëw yàlla si Gbagbo mu toogee xool after mu doon toroxale Ouattara yëpp but look Ouattara came you ought to know better bi mooy dafa bàyyi even ci prime minister bi dee sax somebody is there. Jinga nekkul kenn rek moo di capable pour loolu dikk. Kenn rek. Amoon na kenn ko fa nekk ba leen gis nga léegi lu ko fa dee fekka. Ku nekk dafa wax nii ku nekk wax te mënoon naa mun a génn nice mu mel comme ñoom ñeere bi moo dee 99 he is an elder statesman. Even Kawunda bu ko Culligo di win Zambia 1999 he remained to be a statesman. Even JJ Ronald nga xam ne coup d'état dafa toog def any other rey def lu nekk waaye mu organise constitution organise election mu génn. He remains in the country honorably. So yooyu yëpp dañ ko war di xool bu baax a am kontaan trop.
Legacy.
Waaw sa legacy dañ ko war a teew fi daal.
Yeah, I mean, foog naa ne Jamanka definitely the problem with the Gambia, Nico Esa Wahedal, for the civil society is the weakest link here. Senegal, fortunately, you have a very strong civil society. So civil society, they can stand. I know, legi ñu accuse nañ opposition la everyone. Why ñom they are
every day ñu accuse la ko way taxul nga bay binda bi so lolu fokk ñu accept
I mean
preso group loolu la political party
dafa important
xamal ñu uté tuuti rek
dafa important
the only difference is kii dafa bëgg a win government part yow you are not interested in that.
That's only difference. What you are doing practically the same.
I think Gambian civil society definitely should change its trajectory, so so that we strengthen Zimbabwe, indicate that definitely we are with the society. I mean, that's why they call it civil society. We are not with anybody whatsoever, and that whoever is not doing it right, we should come out against that person. Non la wara demé dal.
Way Fatou duma faté nak fa mu wax gaay né dañ dem YouTube ñu check sama song bi joy la len moy sa tribute song ñom Paturé ñom Moussa suñ fo len legends yi even Joy Christian sin xam nañ né fi mom mo fi ñëk radio FM radio xam nga how living la doyen in broadcasting ñom ñep jox na len ci living understand ñom ñep PL nan fa tribute ci that song na gaay dem YouTube gaay type Papa Jams joy la len ma kay play ko. Wow. So
pare nga yónni ma link bi nañ ko share Kerr Fatou pour ñi nga xam ne ñooy seetaan ñu mën ko access ñu mën a follow sa YouTube channel bi. Thank you so much, Edi. Content and trop, you're not just the ordinary DJ, but I just love the historical background he has on, political history, from Gambia to Senegal. It's amazing. Sub-region, it's just amazing. Thank you so much for availing us the opportunity to talk with you for your time. Uncle D, as always. Thank you so much, Uncle D, always for availing us the opportunity. Last minute, I didn't go right. Thank you always for your time. Of course, Esther, until we come your way next week when I'm fully recovered, another good show with another set of panelists. See you, bye. Take care.
Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
yiriwa men kafutan na tarambuloluto nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour ka julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bunda na doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport oto men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana faisi sula na cargo doko la bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro ni jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adun isi cargo bagasolu tanole men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengolu lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu cargo bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka cargo bagaso kono jubele komi cargo doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti menka karafula korosiro keno cargo sifa bela wati kilingo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti miliyela doku no iframansata cargo doko na tamandiri nyato na doko la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensa tinna fo nse cargo bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakeli tenkungo dila na doku woto ite nyina la men.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.